Welcome to next Bible study in Revelation. This book and the tone of it starts to change quite dramatically. The focus of it starts to change quite dramatically, and we get into the time where there's a new heaven, a new earth, and everything around that is going on. So what we're going to do today is pick up at the end of Revelation chapter 20, and probably depending on time, roll into chapter 21, and it's coming to really around the end times. Call it a transition of times, because there comes a point where the heavens and earth as we know it now come to an end, and there's new heaven, new earth. We're with Christ, but that's the journey we're going on, and we'll take a look at some of the things that the book of Revelation shows on that. So it starts in verse 11. It says, "I saw a great dazzling white throne and the one who sits on it." Again, this is the Passion Translation. You see at the beginning there, the focus has become Jesus and the Father enthroned, the Father who's enthroned on heaven. And again, you've got the image of white and dazzling and purity, and the greatness of it brings this image of really power, authority, calm, all those massive images of God. And interesting, the next sentence here, and I didn't actually check it up against the NIV, just said, "Heaven and earth fled from his presence and they were no more." And you're like, whoa, that sounds drastic. But remember, earth has been subject to sin and the impact of sin just the same way as the human race. So later on, we'll come to it, maybe today or on next Tuesday. You can see there's a new heaven, a new earth, but really what's going on here is this dividing line. The old is finished, or the current that we're in is finished. There's a finishing point, and that finishing point is one that is before the Father, and that sense of even heaven and earth stands before the Father. It's like all dividing lines gone, we're before the Father. So it says earth and heaven flee from his presence. Maybe I should look at that one. Let's if I can find it quickly. Revelation 20, 19, 20. Let's have a look. I was thinking, what's it say in its version in the NIV? It says, "And I saw a great white throne and him who was seated on it." It says, the earth and the heavens fled from his presence. There was no place for them. And then it moves on. Excuse me. Before the throne, it says, "I saw the dead, the great, the small, before the throne." And we got to get an understanding that one day, and keep an understanding, one day we'll all stand before the Father. And they call it the judgment day, but we've got to have an understanding of judgment, because we can think judgment is really the declaration of wrong. You think, oh, I'm facing judgment, but actually it's the separation of good and evil. It's a dividing up. So this isn't a bad day. This is a good day. This is a very good day. And when we stand before the Father, it talks about the books being opened, and then it says another book was opened, which is the book of life. And if your name's in the book of life, then you're through. That's key. That's the image that we're given, that our names are written in the book of life when we believe, when we accept Christ. That's set. So just imagine for a minute, you come to that day and you stand before the Father, and it's like, the image there presented is, it's like, your name, Nick Pengelly, is in the book of life. You're through. Now, whether there's a book or not, I don't know. I suspect God knows who's his when you get there. It's a bit like knowing and identifying your own family. You know your own family. Even they change the haircut, they change the clothes, you still know who your own family are. There's no, I think they're mine. So this is the other part of it. It talks about the books. It says that people were judged by what they had done as is recorded in the books. So when we're before the Father, what is remembered of us? And first thing to remember is that our sin, our mistakes, all that stuff is covered already. It's cleared. It's as far as the east is from the west. So it says our sin is from him. So it can't be that it's a mixed book. It can't be that we stand before him and he's like, well, A, B, C, D, that's in the bad side. E, F, G, H is in the good side. Your goods outweighed the bad, you're in. It's not like that. You think of David, it says David, he fulfilled the purpose of God in his generation. David the murderer fulfilled the purpose of God in his generation. So when he stood before the Father in heaven, it wasn't, you murdered someone, you deceived someone, you lied. It's not so good. On this side, he did some good stuff as king. It's actually the thing that God was looking for was his heart. So I think when we get before the Father, it does say and talk about reward. It does talk about reward for good deeds and things. So I don't think what comes up before the Father it's a celebration day. It's a celebration day of how we've expressed and lived our lives on earth. You think that's pretty good. It's like one of those primary school prize givings where everybody's going to get a prize. It's like you're going to get that certificate for something. Always tries hard. I'm messing around a bit here, but like before the Father, we'll all get the well done. Why? Because our heart's towards him. But there is also that moment of uncovering, I can perhaps the greatness of what we've done. And then there is this that comes with it, this separation for those that don't believe. And again, that's probably a different it's a different subject to go into. I wonder when we get our last opportunity to bow the knee. Good question. We'll leave that one. Anyway, Revelation 21 goes on. It says, "Then in a vision I saw a new heaven and a new earth. The first heaven and earth had passed away," but we heard about that. "And the sea no longer exists." You think, wow, I wonder why the sea no longer exists. And you think there's all these little images, and the sea somehow for me talks about it's the separation, and it talks about one piece of land being separated from another, and you think it's like sin no longer exists, the separation no longer exists, therefore it's like in this image it says the sea no longer exists. Maybe I'll take a further look at that, because I have thought about that one before but can't remember in this moment. And he says, "Then I saw a heavenly city, New Jerusalem." We'll pick this up next time, but you see there's a whole recreation going on. You think when we're born again we become a new creation, but the process is finished as we step into eternity. And here we see, okay, heaven and earth, the old is passed away and no longer exists, the new has come. So there's this whole change and transfer and movement that happens in earth and on heaven, in heaven at this point. Bless you. I shall stop there and we'll pick up on Revelation 21 next time. Bye for now.